Uh, Kia ora, everybody, and welcome to
The House
House
of
of
Chaos.
Chaos. First ever remote digital recording.
Turns out it's
Rebecca,
turns out
turns
it's
out,
hard. Turns out
turns
it's hard
out,
to say things at the same time or even separately. This is going to be interesting.
honestly, like every time we've been recording so far, we've been in the same room right next to each other. But most of the podcasts that I listen to, the people are not in the same room right next to each other. So
Mm,
I've been like, oh, we're doing a cool, funky way of like doing this podcast. And now that you're not next to me, I'm like, this is so weird. Why is everyone doing it like this?
I know it's
This
really
is,
hard. It's like you have to be very
yeah.
conscious of saying your thing and then letting the other person speak. Whereas when we're together, we could just speak all over each other.
Ah, I hate how courteous we have to be in this format.
Rebecca and I are usually never courteous.
Famous rude boys over here.
Oh yeah, just on the
Um,
streets of Tamaki Makato, stepping all over people.
Stepping all over people, flipping people off,
Yeah, cutting into
spitting on the
people's car
ground.
parking spaces.
Oh, you know us. We'll pick up a cone, throw it right onto the roof of a bus shelter,
Huh, huh, and higher.
and yeah, we'll throw it on the top of the sky tower. How did that cone get up there? Mm, classic Izzy and Rebecca.
I did actually see a thing on Instagram of like the best places that New Zealanders had put traffic cones, and some of them were very impressive. Like I would not be
Oh,
surprised
that's
if there was a
good.
traffic cone on top of the Sky Tower.
They should do that, like to celebrate when the train stations open or something. Like, get ready for less cones. We're celebrating. We've made a giant cone hat for the sky. I
A
mean, it's the
giant.
shape of a big cone. It's the shape of two cones.
Yeah, it's just like a little protect. It would be a protective casing for it.
Well, we should say what this is. So, this is House of Chaos. This is your emotional support New Zealand politics and news podcast with your
Is
co-host
Izzy Renton?
and also your other co-host, Rebecca Mary Gwendolyn, two politically interested comedians, but sadly not sitting politicians. Sorry, guys. I know everyone's been clamoring for us to,
Oh,
run
banging
for
down the
office.
door. Yeah. Hey, I can think of worse people to vote for.
Yeah.
I'm actually really pleased that we're doing this today because we are recording remotely because I have gone back to the UK to visit family and actually I'm currently in Scotland, having been to a wedding here. Which means that because I've been traveling all over the place, my ability to keep up with the news has been much more like scattered than in previous weeks. And so I had to do like a big binge to catch up. And I feel like taking the time off and then coming back to it just gave me like the news depression because it's also sad.
No.
I know.
It is. It is sad. So what we'll do is we'll go through our like quick fire headlines and then we'll get into it with a bit of a chat and then we'll finish with some good news and hopefully this will be a cathartic process for Izzy and also for everyone else.
Yeah. Hopefully Rebecca can pick me up and make me feel better about the state of the world. The other thing that like really, and we say this, have been saying this every fortnight, but like A, so much happens, but B, obviously there's been all the budget stuff this week, but there's just like legislation goes through Parliament every single day. Every single day. And I know
It's
that's stupid, but it does.
yes. Well, I think at this point, so many things are getting fast tracked. Like,
Mm,
I wonder if it used to be at this speed.
I know. And it's like, how is anybody who is just like working and caring for their whānau meant to keep up with any of this and actually know fully what's going on all the time? Because even when you're actually following, like it's hard to keep up to track with everything and then like make sense of it in relation to like what's come before. And I'm also like, does all of this legislation need to be done at this rate, or is it just like politicians filling time because they have time
Yeah,
to fill? I don't know.
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah,
Like
100%.
obviously our country is like a complicated thing to run, but I do like surely we could set the pace and maybe sometimes the pace would be better at a slightly slower rate.
Yeah, I mean, that's how you get stuff that's like, well researched and properly consulted with the public on, and
Yeah.
all of the parties have got to debate it, and
Yeah,
people can
yeah.
make informed decisions. So that's probably exactly why they don't want to do that.
Just shove it all through. Don't let
Shove
anybody look at
it.
it. Yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
speaking of all of that news, shall we go to our first segment, the
Yes.
quickfire news?
Quick fire news.
Quickfire news.
As people have probably been aware of, the 2026 budget was released on Thursday. It's good news if you like tanks, and bad news if you like the arts or having a job.
14 prison staff have been arrested across Tamaki Makaurau for engaging in illegal activity, which raises the question, where are you going to put them? Because they're already in prison.
The Moana Pacifica rugby team has gone into liquidation.
And Winston Peters has been making a lot of very vague comments about saving the team, which I think means he would like to, but he doesn't have the money.
I mean, you can't personally fund it with the racehorse or the racehorse lobbying money.
Not yet.
That's redistribution. So Act Party has had a $600,000 donation surge. So they've now got more money than any other party for the election, nearly double Nationals. And I'm looking forward to seeing what Seymour buys with his cash. I hope it's a really flashy outfit and some spangly shoes, because then at least he'd be nice to look at.
It's the start of June, which means it was the end of New Zealand Music Month and the end of the New Zealand Comedy Festival. So now we can all just go back to only supporting international artists. Thank God.
Thank God. Nobody wants homegrown artists.
There's a new political party, Te Tai Tokero Party, which has been started by Maria Meno Kapakingi, who was formerly of Te Pāti Māori and is sitting in the Te Tai Tokero Māori electorate seat currently. So it's going to be
Mm.
really embarrassing if she doesn't win that seat again, since that's what her political party is named.
The coalition government continues to have double standards about housing. They've published the draft law of the move on orders for people experiencing homelessness in the same week as it was revealed that National MP for Social Development Louise Upton claimed $50,000 in housing supplements last year, which obviously was very necessary because she doesn't have a mortgage to pay. But
And
she might
she
have some.
only gets just over $300,000 a year for her salary.
Oh man. Wait, did you check that?
Yeah,
Just over $300,000
yeah.
and an extra $50,000 for her house. And she can't pay for her house and her three house. Sorry, can we just pause the quick fire news? This is ludicrous. That's crazy.
Yeah.
As somebody who has previously stood up for politicians being paid well, which I do think we should pay them reasonably, that is crazy.
I feel like reasonably paid does not include like three and a half, $350,000.
No, it doesn't include like you should be able to buy anything you want and carry it around on a golden pillow. And actually, you should probably have somebody who holds all of your cards for them so that you don't
Mm.
even have to touch the money. You just point at things and then they arrive in your presence.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's too much. That's going too far.
Dude.
And it's good news because the Ministry for the Environment has been scrapped. So
Oh,
thank goodness we don't live in the environment, because then that would be terrible. Our final story for the quickfire news.
Labour finance spokesperson calls Nicola Willis a duck-faced horse and says what we've all been thinking.
Hey, quickfire news.
Quickfire news! Well, we're sort of going to have a more general conversation today, aren't we?
general conversation today. Yeah, we had kind of two big sort of groupings of what we were going to talk about. Well, why don't we just start talking about all of this? Like just a general kind of uh budgety, Nicola Willisy, job cutsy kind of discussion.
Yeah. So I think the first thing that we should say is because we're going to do this week slightly different when we're going to have a more like rambling discussion than our usual segment approach. Um, and the first thing I think we should say is that the budget has come out. Everybody is talking about it. We will
Mm,
probably mention it today, but we are going to do a special budget conversation and examination because I would like to look at it really closely. But probably when I
yeah,
get back.
yeah,
Yeah,
when you're back. Yeah.
yeah,
So this is our general kind of broad strokes kind of a chat.
yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna be like Labour and we're gonna digest the budget and then come out with some amazing policy in response to
Hell yeah. I
it.
mean, the uh I have been so mad at Nicola Willis this week. So I was really feeling like, thank God somebody called her a name. The thing though is with the duck-faced horse thing, it's so crazy. So what happened was it's Labour's finance spokesperson, Barbara Edmonds, and the context for this is that they had an internal Labour Party event that was like training for list MP candidates. They were asking them hypothetical questions for like media training practice. She got asked a really silly question about would you rather fight 100 ducks or 100 horses or something like that. And then she said, "Well, I have to deal with a duck-faced horse every day." Ha ha ha, Nicola Willis. And somebody there recorded that and released it to the media, which I
Yeah.
feel like is the bigger story, really.
Oh, 100%. For me, that person is the villain because
Oh yeah,
I I like I don't think that we should be I think we shouldn't be commenting on women in politics appearances, whatever side of the aisle they're
yeah,
on, just because
yeah.
of the way that that does get targeted. Um, in public, I don't think we should
Mm.
be doing that. In private, everybody needs a vent. Everybody needs
Yeah.
a little harmless jibe just to release some steam. And look,
Mm.
we've all done it. You know, what's the line from the Bible about like he who has not sinned throw the first stone or whatever? Uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like who of us can say we haven't alluded to an annoying colleague being a blank-faced blank before?
Izzy, I'm so glad that you are here bringing back the Bible references because
Well, you did it for the census, so I had to do it for this one.
what were we talking about the other week? We were talking about like the emotional and how taxing it is, like as a member of the public living in society and hearing about all of this. But what an emotionally draining job it must be to be an MP with any kind of moral compass whatsoever. So
Yeah.
imagine not even feeling like you could let loose with your colleagues. And on the scale of things you could say about someone that you really fundamentally disagree with in a private space, like,
Mm.
yeah, crazy.
Yeah, yeah. I will say that Nicola Willis was in the news for saying something that I agree with in the last couple of weeks. And it
Oh,
was in relation to superannuation and pensions. She had a little
what did she say?
uh well, I forget the specifics, but she was just talking about the fact that we needed to have like a proper conversation about the cost of
Mm,
superannuation because like
mm.
of welfare spending, like 50% of it goes to paying for pensions. And a lot of the people who receive pensions are people who are well funded to support their own pension. They just put that into investments and then like pass it on to their kids. And obviously, there are a lot of people who really do need pensions and support and should get support. But there's a lot of people getting just drawing on it who kind of don't need the extra cash. And so she was talking about the fact that that was something that needed to be addressed in a serious way in relation to government budgeting. And Winston Peters got very angry at her. And And it is, I must say that I was like, yeah, Nicola, on this one, I do think that's something we need to have a conversation with. So call
Yeah.
me a duck-faced horse.
No, I agree. I agree. And there's like, oh, I can't remember the name of the woman, but there is like a New Zealand woman who set up a charity for like other people who were in the same position as her who did not need the pension money. And it's you kind of sign up and it directly donates your pension money to a
Oh,
charity of
that's
your
really cool.
choosing. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm not sure how many people are doing it, but that is a service that exists.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, 100%. And it's like it just sort of has been set, even like the age at which you get the pension. There's
Mm,
like certain social groups where a lot of people have certain social groups and certain types of work where people have retired before that, and other groups where people retire a lot after that.
yeah.
Yeah, it's all nonsense.
It is all not
Yeah,
if yeah. If only we were
yeah.
in charge, Rebecca.
If only we were in charge. Well, I tell you what is something that they've also done in the this week. I think it's been this week actually, is announcing massive layoffs for government employees, 10,000 people in the
Mm.
next couple of years that they want to
Oh.
replace with AI. And then they had AI experts on the news being like, no, like other countries are putting in a lot more safeguards for the use of AI. The things that you're talking about, job cuts, like AI can't do that.
Yeah.
Um,
Also, the
yeah,
other
they've
thing with
also,
AI, the
yeah,
other
yeah,
thing with AI is that you have to pay a fee to the AI companies to use the AI. And obviously, what's going to happen is everybody's going to start using AI, everybody's going to become dependent on it. And then the companies who own the AI are going to have to increase their profit margins. So they're just going to start raising those subscription costs, which means how much is the government going to just be paying to tech billionaires, essentially? Which is, I mean, to me, that's the long view of like, sure, we could
yeah.
make everything AI, but it's just going to be a way for tech billionaires to extract more money.
The thing I keep thinking is like, what they're doing, they're not saving money. They're just moving money. Like if you cut the straw budget or you
Mm,
cut the expense account budget, you're saving money. If you cut people from the budget, you're not saving the money of their salaries. You're moving you're moving that part of the budget from an expense of paying people's salaries to paying out more job seeker benefits and
mm,
paying out
mm,
more working for families benefits because the job that they can get the next job they get doesn't pay as well. And you're
mm,
reducing your tax income because you now have 10,000 less people earning that money and paying those taxes. And
mm,
it's
mm.
not a saving at all to cut people from the budget. It doesn't make any sense. And when you're talking about the economy, like they've already fired 10,000 people in Wellington last year from their government
Mm,
jobs. And then that's 10,000 less people who are buying food in the CBD and going out at night and having discretionary income. And I just don't, it's just so, it's one of those things where you're like, are you dumb or are you nasty?
I think the thing with this government is they're just like, because again, we are, government spending has been in a big deficit, and there's a big issue across you know, previously wealthy states where their government finances are really poor, there's a lot of debt. And so I agree that government spending and being in surplus and being in a position where we can make the government financially viable and able to store wealth so it can be used well for future generations is an important problem. But it's like they identify the problem and then they just choose the like most obvious yet ineffective solution to it. It's
Yeah,
like, oh,
yeah,
this bicycle isn't working, so let's just take the wheels off the bicycle because maybe that will make it lighter and it will move faster. And it's like, no, obviously the bicycle is not going to move.
Such a good metaphor for this. It's such a good metaphor for this. Oh my God.
It's just, yeah, it's really sad. It's also, I feel so sorry for Wellington. Like, we went down to do the New Zealand Fringe Festival in Wellington, and it was the first time I'd been there in a while. And it was just that thing of going down where, like, Wellington's great, we love it, but it's just that thing where there's like a lot more shops closed,
Mm,
uh, and so like
mm.
you're seeing less people out and eating and stuff like that, and it's like you can really it's those like street recession indicators, and then to just get like
Yes.
slashed again. And I saw an article somewhere saying, this is Wellington needs to diversify away from being reliant on sort of state sector work essentially, and it's like it's our political capital, like
Like, would you go to Washington, D.C. and say, there's too many government workers here? What the heck?
I mean, to be fair, Donald Trump has and is so
Oh, God. Of course. Of
He's
course.
like, he's like, what
Oh.
we need is fewer government workers and more people building ballrooms. They could try
Wait,
that in
building
Wellington. Ballrooms.
ballrooms. And he doesn't mean like in the queer dance sense.
No, I mean, I hope that he does, but his ballroom that he's building at the White House? You
No.
don't know about, oh my God, Rebecca, you have missed out on so much like memeable content of Donald Trump and his ballroom. It's so
No.
firstly, they knocked down a portion of the White House, like grade listed building, so he could build his ballroom. Secondly, the plans show that like there's so many like columns on it and stuff that there's windows that don't even like have a view outside because there's all this like weird facading on it in the plans. Thirdly, when they knocked it down, it turned out it was full of asbestos. So all the government workers have like a claim against the government for being exposed to asbestos. And fourthly, like there are so many videos of him in meetings where he's meant to be like listening to important policy decisions. And he just like gets up and like granddad style, like wanders over to the window and gazes outside of it and then like turns around and is like, my ballroom is gonna be there. It's gonna be amazing and so big and the greatest ballroom that anybody's seen. Yeah, it's crazy. I can't believe you've missed out on this. There's so much content
God.
for you. Yeah.
Oh my God. So, and yesterday he's out there saying that he's the most popular entertainment act in the world and he's more successful than Elvis Presley. And now he's getting a ballroom to go with it.
Oh, yeah. And I really hope that when he gets into it, it just like they low key make it like a drag ballroom situation and just like do some real cool balls there. And he's just like, look at all the lovely people who have come to support me.
He just doesn't understand what voguing is at all.
No.
Well,
Yeah.
speaking of America, I mean, I feel like one of the big things in the budget is our defense budget is the biggest New Zealand defense budget of all time. It's gone up from 1 to
Yeah.
2% of our GDP. Um, and the US Defense Secretary was just like randomly insulting us and calling us freeloaders, which is maybe something that has goaded the government a little bit into this because they're so desperate to impress America, the cool
Yeah.
kid at the cafeteria.
Yeah, so America's been doing this to everybody, and like particularly Europe as well, saying that they're freeloaders on the US. And like part of that is that the world order that we have is secured by the military strength of the US and the kind of alliance between typically like Western democratic countries. And for those who are on podcasts, I am doing air quotations there because obviously different countries have different levels of democracy and it's been shifting quite a lot recently. um, um, but the sort of traditional alliance of like the liberal Western democracies has been backed by the military strength of the US. And now the US is saying that sort of everybody else needs to pull their weight. This is one of the things that makes me really sad, Rebecca,
Oh,
because, yeah, because when people So my master's was in conflict and terrorism studies. And when people start increasing their spending on defense, they start producing more weapons and resourcing the military. And when countries see their neighbors spending more on defense and producing more weapons and resourcing the military, they go, oh, what are they preparing for? We better also prepare for it. And then they start increasing their defense and their military and their weapons. And then people start saying, oh, they're getting pretty nifty weapons over there. What if they use one on us? We better use one on them first. And then you get war. So this is like part of an
That's
international trend of people increasing their
yeah.
defense spending and basically getting into an arms race, which is what you see, which is what we saw before all of the world wars. So
Mm. I mean, that's what's happening currently right now, right? Like that's
that's
what's happening
exactly
with
what's
the US
happening.
and Israel and Iran. Yeah.
Yeah. And like Japan a few weeks ago, who after World War II, they got like banned from producing and selling weapons, and they had to massively scale down their military, and they had a new constitution. They had new constitutional law formed, which sort of made a claim that they would never be an aggressor in a war. They would only ever act in self-defense. And even they are weakening those terms and have started expanding their weapons production and trading, which they used to have a lot of limitations on. So it's just an international trend of everybody basically getting war ready, which is, Rebecca, it's really sad and you have to make me feel better now. Rebecca is juggling small items from their desk.
Don't look over there. Look at me. Sleight of hand. Sleight of hand. Oh
Oh, thanks. I
no.
appreciate the effort.
Um, I think that this is for Izzy and also for everyone else who is listening. I think the thing that has made me feel better about all of this week, more than anything else, is the speech that Linda Topp gave at the Aotearoa Music Awards a few days ago. It
Hmm.
was incredible. Have you seen it?
I've seen it reported on, but I haven't watched the speech itself. Yeah.
Um, I think you have to watch the speech. It's like 7 minutes long. It's amazing. So Linda Topp is one half of the Topp twins, which is like a massive deal New Zealand comedy act. They would do musical comedy. They would dress up as these characters, Ken and Ken. They're just delightful. And her sister Jules passed away after a long battle with breast cancer over the weekend. And
Mm,
then they had this big tribute for the two of them at the music awards. And it was just when the budget had come out. And this speech is amazing. She's like on stage, the Minister for the Arts is in the audience, and she's just on the stage being like, oh, I see we've increased the defense budget by so many $billion and cut all the arts funding. What are we going to do? Like, even with that amount of money, what could New Zealand possibly do? We'll have four tanks instead of
mm,
three tanks.
mm,
And then she's like, if someone's going to come and invade New Zealand, and then she just starts naming all these New Zealand bands that have been performing, and she's like, we'll get what did she say? We'll get alien weaponry out here, and then we'll get these guys out here, and I'll be at the top, and I'll be waving a big flag, and no one's gonna get through us, and you got to fund the arts. And
I
it's so amazing. The audience just keeps like getting up and doing spontaneous standing ovations. So
love the
I feel
idea
like,
that I love the idea that instead of the military, New Zealand would just essentially have like a giant marching band.
yeah. I mean, I feel like we'd be great for that. Like, how confusing. You come and try and fight us, and we're just having a parade, just ambiently.
Yeah, nobody can fight a parade, honestly.
No, that's why
No.
Disneyland is so safe.
Yeah, and when the rest of the world goes to war, we'll just be like, we'll bring the soundtrack.
I don't know if that helped to cheer you up. I think the thing that cheered me up the most about that was like just the way that the politicians can be doing whatever they want to do, but at the end of the day, like a room full of actual human beings, like is fairly united about things like
Yeah.
what's important to us. I
Yeah.
think that was really nice.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think even with the like, because obviously the vote passed for them to scrap the Ministry of of Environment. And even with that, it was like on all the public submissions, I think it was like they had hundreds of submissions and literally only two were in support of scrapping.
Editor's note from editing Rebecca. They received 588 submissions and only five of them supported scrapping the Ministry for the Environment.
So it comes back to what we were talking about last time, where it's like this government doesn't even seem to be actually representing the interests of the New Zealand people, but also
Yeah.
supporting that idea that, like, actually, the majority of New Zealanders are not dummies. We just have
Mm.
some dummies in the beehive.
Yes. And luckily, in just a few months, we have the power to change that.
I mean, yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Because with economic voting, like obviously there's a lot of theories of why people vote for different governments at what time, and like researchers are always trying to like figure things out so you can kind of like make predictions about the next election, even though that's like always very hard to do. And one of like
Yeah.
a lot of the research is about economic voting, and there's this idea
Mm.
that when the economy is doing well, it's very likely that the existing government will just be voted back in again because people are like, oh, the cost of living is okay. I'm having a good time. Why would we change the government? And then when the economy
Mm.
is doing badly, people tend to want to change the government because they're like, I'm having a tough time. I can't afford things. So I'm going to vote for somebody new to come in. Um, and when they look at people's like, because obviously that decision is impacted by your understanding of the economy. And so when they look at people's understanding of the economy, they find that, like, overall, the general public, even if they may not know what to do about it, they have a pretty good sense of whether the economy is going well or going badly because they obviously experience it very directly in the cost of living. But the
Mm.
people who are the worst at understanding how the economy are doing are the wealthiest people with the most assets because they're protected from the economy. So they don't
Mm.
understand when it's going well or when it's going badly. And I feel like the sort of demographic that the like right-wing coalition is giving voice to includes a lot more people who are very well cushioned from the economy and so don't
Mm.
actually understand. And we've kind of got to be like, oh no, poor you, your situation means that you just don't have the capacity to understand what's going on. This idea that they're just automatically better at the economy is like ridiculous and also like demonstrably false.
Exactly.
Oh
Oh,
dear.
well,
So yes,
should
but
we
now
talk
to
about something
segue.
else that they're demonstrably incorrect about? Um,
Yes. Oh, yes, this is
is
another thing.
yeah.
Oh, Rebecca,
So
I
the
feel
sort
like
of
I'm just spiraling in this episode. I don't know whether it's at all entertaining for people to listen to, just like having rants about things.
I mean, I feel like this is the catharsis that we need,
This is the
Like,
catharsis, yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah, so the two kind of broad topics for our discussion were sort of economy stuff and then sort of like women's stuff and queer stuff. So obviously the big story is that the definitions of woman and man amendment bill has passed its first reading in Parliament on Wednesday. And
Hmm.
this is just a leaf out of the old playbook from our friends in the UK and the US. And the bill wants to define what a woman is in law as an adult human biological female, and then the same for a man, an adult human biological male. So obviously, everyone thinks that's terrible.
Well, unfortunately, not everyone thinks it's
Not everyone
terrible.
thinks that's terrible. This is a Winston Peters thing that
Yeah.
definitely at least Christopher Luxon. I don't know what David Seymour originally said, but Christopher Luxon said, "Oh no, we won't support this. We won't support this. Like we have to let him do this. It's one of our like coalition agreements, but we won't vote for it once it's in." But then he did vote for it.
Yeah, because
Um,
he's saying that he wants to let it get to select committee so that the public can have their say, basically. Which I feel like
yeah,
National is always doing this. It's always
they
like,
always say that.
oh, we don't
Yeah,
have an opinion about the policy,
yeah.
but we'll just let it go through so that you can have a conversation about it. But if it's scrapping the Ministry of Environment and you don't want it to happen, we're just going to ignore you.
Yeah, yep. If it's the giant Toitu Te Tiriti march, like the biggest march of all time, like
I
we
know.
won't listen to you about that one either, actually.
I
Yeah.
know. I
Yeah.
obviously this so obviously I'm in the UK right now where we had exactly this bill last year
Exactly
with
the same thing. Yeah.
yeah, I know that it was like an activist group that was like very heavily funded by J.K. Rowling. A lot of money just like pushed it and pushed it and pushed it until eventually like it got through and this bill went through. And like even now that they won and they got the bill through, they've done like more cases against groups and organizations who they think like haven't enforced it fast enough. And it's just like, oh my God, like get a hobby, like find something else to do with
Ah,
your time.
oh my God. Especially in the case of J.K. Rowling, it's like you have so much money. Like, bitch, go to therapy. Like, someone, like, as we all know, her life story, if you used to be, if you're an ex-Harry Potter fan, whatever, you know she's had some trauma in the past that she clearly has done this thing of not addressing and just making it everyone else's problem.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's the really difficult thing. I mean, not like difficult, but in terms of the like trans exclusionary radical feminist perspective, it's just they fundamentally cannot recognize that trans people are a real thing. Is like, yes, the feminist struggle has been very difficult. Yes, someone like J.K. Rowling has clearly been, you know, at the receiving end of like abuse as the result of like unfair, unequal gender systems and like the patriarchy. But this is just so not the correct, like, this is so not the
I
helpful
know.
response to it. Like,
Yeah. And directly like related to that is what people are saying is in New Zealand, like they're introducing this bill, and yet in the budget they have cut millions of dollars from support services for survivors of sexual abuse. And they
yeah,
also famously last year, Brock Van Velden brought in getting rid of pay equity. So it's
yeah,
the same as everywhere in the world where like abortion rights, equal pay, like support services, anything that actually helps women is
yeah,
being cut. And then trans people, who are less than 1% of the population, are being
yeah.
used as a scapegoat for everything.
Other thing that really frustrates me about the like women's rights narrative is that like ultimately strict definitions around the gender binary have been used to oppress women for so long. Because if you don't fit into a very narrow idea of like caring, beautiful, like feminine, submissive woman, you have been punished. And we've seen this directly with the trans narrative where like the boxer in the World Olympics who won the
Yes,
World Olympics and
yes,
then got
yes.
accused of being a trans woman because
When she is a cis woman.
and when she's a cis
Yeah.
woman. And basically all that this is achieving is like because there's no strict biological thing that makes us a man quotation marks or a woman quotation marks. It's like obviously in terms of like physiological differences there's like bodily differences, there's hormonal differences, but it's like those things are clusters rather than like strict boundaries. And there are
Yeah,
cis
yeah.
women with like high testosterone levels. There are obviously people who like don't fit into the gender binary at all if they're intersex
There's
and stuff like that.
intersex people exist.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So even if you're taking like a very hard scientific view, this idea that there are two sex genders is just false. It's just
It's
false. It's not
scientifically
true.
wrong, yeah.
It's
Yeah. And
scientifically
it's
wrong.
like it's even tied into like racism, and it's
Yeah.
like, is your definition of a man and a woman based on a white man and a white woman? Because a
Yes.
lot of those traditional kind of gender stereotypes are based on like, especially like white women, and then diverse, ways that people can look and be from different backgrounds is like
Yeah.
not accounted for in this.
Like we have a highly discriminated group, trans people, who are just, as you say, being used as scapegoats. But then the reason that people are giving for this is that they're like, quotation marks, protecting women's rights. And it's like, you understand nothing about how gender is used to control people.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Oh,
oh,
yes. It's
I feel like this
real.
episode is just Izzy rants. Oh,
Oh, but I feel like this has been it's been a lot of bad shit that has been happening. It's like, it's hard to know yeah, it's really messed up. It's interesting because like as a trans person myself, but I'm non-binary, and I can easily go into a bathroom and not be questioned for being in there. So I've been feeling like it's quite weird being like, this is an attack on a group that I am within, but also just so aware that it won't, it's not me that's going to be suffering the most for it. And there's so many of
yeah,
my friends that are in potentially so much at risk from this kind of legislation. It's
yeah.
just, yeah, it's just crazy.
But I think like
Yeah.
what you're at the moment at the university, I'm having with a class on like identity politics. And one of the things that we discuss all the time in it is when you're creating identity groups, like you always have to recognize whether it's like a trans group or a group of women or a group based on like race or culture. Like everybody's experiences in that group are going to be different. So
Mm,
this hunt for the like scientifically sound definition of woman where we all like are meant to share some kind of like singular experience, whether that's based on our physiology or like the way that we're viewed in the world, is like it's not true. It's like
yeah.
my experience as a woman and the type of difficulties that I have to face are very different to like a Maori woman or like a woman in a different country or like a woman of a different like socioeconomic background or like a woman who wants to have children, a woman who doesn't want to have children. Like all of these different
Mm,
experiences make our experiences very different. And like
mm,
the idea that we can't be in a collective with people who are women who are having a different experience of that womanhood is not true because we do that every single day as women. We do that every single day.
mm,
Like
mm,
we share something, but we all have different experiences, and that's something we take completely for
mm.
granted the rest of the time. But for some reason, when we're talking about this specific group, people get annoyed and are like, "No, they can't be part of the club."
Like, actually, this changing room is just for women who like uh sour cream and onion chips. If you actually prefer salt and vinegar chips, I'm sorry, but you can't actually come into this changing
No,
room because this
no,
is
no.
just for women who like sour cream and onion. So sorry, ladies.
I would not be in that changing room. I would be in the salt and vinegar crisps changing room. Those are my
Yeah.
women. Those are my women.
And listener, which chips-based changing room would you be?
Yeah.
I'll be in the sad boy ready salted changing room. That's
Is
where I'll
that boy
be.
really salted? Oh, you think, yeah, the other thing that makes me, yeah, the thing that makes me really angry about it, like beyond the ethical injustice of it, is the fact
And
that it is, sorry.
oh, and like literally, it would if it goes through, it'll be directly in conflict with other existing New Zealand laws, like
Yeah.
the
Well, there's also
human rights laws, the anti-discrimination laws.
yeah, there's also the thing that it's because they're specifying it's adult, it means that it might prevent some women, some girls who are not yet adult women from accessing
Mm.
services like abortion and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, Yeah.
It's just
But yeah,
very silly. Yeah,
it
no,
is
you go.
silly. But I think it's the thing that frustrates me so much about it is the presentation that they're just trying to be sensible, rational, and scientific, and everything
Mm.
else is ideology, when it's like, no,
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 you're scientifically wrong.
you're scientifically wrong. And like, fine, if you want to represent the people who are scientifically wrong, do that. But just say we're the anti-science party.
Yes. And the earth is flat
And the earth
and
is flat.
gravity is not real. There's a big
Yes.
magnet in the earth, and everyone has a tiny magnet that they
Yes.
swallow when they're a baby, and it
Yes.
stops you from falling off the earth.
And that's why Christopher Luxon can fly and is Superman, because sometimes he takes out his magnet and zooms around the world.
That's why he doesn't have any hair on his head, because that's how he gets the magnet out, and the hair was getting in the way.
And also it's low wind resistance, so
Yeah.
like a bullet, like a bullet.
He's the speeding bullet that Superman is faster than. Speeding bullet. Christopher
Christopher
Luxon,
Luxon.
the
Yeah.
the assistant of Superman.
The assistant of Superman.
Hey.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I don't know. I don't think it's gonna I don't think it's gonna go through. If you're in New Zealand and you're listening to this, you can make a submission against the definitions of a man and a woman bill. And I haven't seen anyone not sharing the resources for doing that. It's always nice to see the non-trans community getting riled up and sharing these things. I feel like the amount of
Yeah.
people who actually want this shit and have time for it is such a small minority.
At this point, people are pretty tired with this culture war. Like, it's obviously gone
Yeah.
through the US and the UK. And I think, I don't know whether it's that people are getting wise, but I think they're just like, come on, man, we can't afford anything. Are you seriously going to try this shit on us? Like,
Yes. Yes. It's like I can't afford to pay my power bill, and this is what you're talking about. In a
yeah,
way, they're shooting themselves in the foot, I guess, because it does show how out of touch they are. That it's like this is not anybody's priority. Like putting
yeah.
food on the table is people's priority.
Would be so much work. But part of me was wondering whether we should, because you know how you can like write a baseline submission for people to submit themselves and stuff, whether we
Mm.
could do that. We could do some House of Chaos ones. Um
Oh, that's fun.
yeah,
That's fun. Or we could just share ones that people have already done.
yeah. It would also be fun to do some like I'd love to do some like trolly ones that just like troll the government essentially.
Fun.
Yeah.
That's fun. Yeah, let's do some troll content.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
Um,
I'm out here wanting to fight, and then we'll just fight them with the word, with the written word as
with
well.
the word, yeah.
Okay, well, that was the loose open discussion. We've got one more segment to finish the show, which is our good news.
Oh, good news. Yeah, good
Good
news, good news,
news.
good news, good
Yay.
news. Yeah.
Well, I have some good news from Australia, which
Hmm.
is that a trans woman has won her court case and been awarded $30,000 after an app tried to, like a women's only app, tried to exclude her from it. She
Ah,
won and she's got $30,000 from them for discriminating against her.
yay.
Yay.
The
Whoop,
justice
whoop.
system can work.
It can work. Yay. What
Yeah.
else have we got in good news, Izzy?
Okay. So there was a very minor constitutional change with actually some quite big ramifications, which they've changed the how Parliament is funded so that Parliament gets to make decisions about its own funding rather than the executive, which is the government in power. And that means that Parliament will have sort of more freedom to be able to fund their activities and basically keep check on the executive, because the idea is that they're meant to be watching over the executive and making sure they don't abuse their powers. So basically this is given more power to the sort of system of scrutiny in Parliament, and hopefully will result in better democracy. Oh,
Yay!
yay!
Democracy! And
Democracy.
another piece of good news is that there's a few different gold mines that companies are trying to make in New Zealand at the moment. Some of them are still under consideration, but one of them is officially not going ahead. The Sam's Creek gold mine was officially cancelled after so many concerns from locals about the environmental impact. Yay!
Yay!
Some good things
Some good things
happened.
happened. Yay! Oh, that's
Yay!
made me feel better, actually. It's a good idea ending with the good news.
I think it's good to end with the good news. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, hey, thanks for listening with us. We'll be back
yeah.
in 2 weeks with another remote episode
Yes,
from different parts of the world.
yes.
And
We
we're
did a lot
doing
of
a
ranting today,
special.
so we might do something a little fun next time. Yes,
We'll do something fun next time. Yeah,
yes,
we all
yes.
need a break.
Yes, exactly. I also want to say, like, please, if you're watching, or I think you can even do this on Spotify now, like, comment. If you'd like to do, like, we keep forgetting to tell people to like and subscribe to us. So
Please rate our podcast, like our podcast, subscribe, comment, and hit the
yes.
star button so you never miss a video.
Yes. And also we're like, this was a bit of an experiment today, having a slightly looser form conversation. So if you enjoyed it, let us know, because we're still developing what we're doing. So we're do you know
Yeah,
what? Unlike the current government, if you submit to our select committee process, we will take it into consideration.
we will. This is a representative democratic podcast.
Yeah.
Hey, Izzy, I think that's probably us for today.
I think
So,
that's us.
thanks everyone for visiting the House of Chaos. And as we always say,
So don't let the
don't
door
let the
hit
door
you
hit you
on
on the
the way
way
out.
out. Perfect. Nailed
Perfect.
it.
Let the bass kick.